guys, it's Danielle Tiara. Thanks for tuning in to Statue of Society. Be sure to hit the subscribe button for instant updates. Also, be sure to hit the notification bell so you get notified when an upload has been posted. So, the harsh reality of Breonna Taylor's death has been weighing heavy on us all, and it's even more heartbreaking that justice has yet to be served. And in that fight and in that wait, we're going to dive into exactly what is taking so long for justice to be served with insight from journalist Tessa Duvall. She's a reporter for the Louisville Courier-Journal, in which she was interviewed by Slate.com. So shortly after midnight on March 13th, Breonna Taylor and her boyfriend Kenneth Walker were in bed when the police started pounding on the door of their apartment in Louisville, Kentucky. Walker thought someone was breaking in, so he got up and took a gun to protect himself and his girlfriend. Louisville Metro Police broke down the door with a battering ram, and Walker fired a shot, wounding Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly. Police fired back, hitting Breonna multiple times and shooting 22 times, and she died at the scene. Directly after this fatal incident, the police department held a standard conference. This conference was very brief, and it ultimately covered the well-being of the officer and the officer's injuries. The incident reports turned in by the police department were full of inaccuracies, as it stated that there were no injuries on the site of the scene, which was obviously a lie here because Breonna Taylor's life was taken. And it also stated that there was no forced entry, which was another bold lie. According to CNN, the chief accused Hankerson of blindly firing 10 rounds into Taylor's apartment through a covered patio door and window that prevented him from accessing any threat posed by the occupants before opening fire. Some of his rounds penetrated a neighboring apartment and endangered the lives of 3 of its occupants. The letter stated, "I find your conduct a shock of the conscience," the chief wrote. "Your actions have brought discredit upon yourself and the department and demands your termination." Quite frankly, Officer Brett getting fired is not enough. And the law that was passed in honor of Breonna Taylor, the Knock Warrant Law, that's great, but it's not enough. And people are continuing to post their posts about her case, and people are continuing to protest, and people are continuing to celebrate her life because we're trying to keep it alive and not to forget about her. We demand justice. Despite Breonna Taylor's case being shared on huge media outlets, and it's being shared all across social media, people are talking about it here and there. People are continuing to protest, and even celebrities are using their star power to reach out to attorney generals, and yet the case is still collecting dust. Nothing has been done. Nothing has moved forward with this case, and nothing has been reported to the public. At this point, people are tired of waiting, people are frustrated, and people are eager to take it to the next level. Slate.com asked journalist Tessa Duvall, who's investigating Breonna's case as of now, and she stated, "Daniel Cameron is the Attorney General in Kentucky, and his office has had that file for a couple of months now. The reason it's in his hands is because he is a special prosecutor over this case. The local Commonwealth's attorney, who typically would handle a case like this, actually recused himself, citing a conflict of interest because he was at the time pursuing that attempted murder charge against Breonna's boyfriend, Kenny Walker. Those have since been dismissed." Daniel Cameron was just elected as Attorney General of Kentucky this year of 2020. In an image picture with Donald Trump, the Republican Attorney General captioned his post, "Last week I met with Donald Trump. Today, I'm honored to share that he has endorsed my campaign for the Kentucky Attorney General. I look forward to working with him to fight the drug epidemic and illegal immigration. #D4AG, #MAGA. Frustration continued to build amongst those fighting for the justice of Breonna Taylor, and this image began to circulate around social media, which stated instead of charging the killers of Breonna Taylor, Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron had an engagement party this weekend. According to PVA records, it was also publicized that Cameron had just closed on a new home on July 2nd. Looking for stylish protective cases? Bomb Sauce Babe have you covered, and they stay up to date with the current trends of the time, and they have everything you need from shockproof to melanated cases to your favorite lyrics to all your favorite social media sites and all your inspo for travel. Whatever you're looking for, no matter your mood, your style, Bomb Sauce Babe has you covered. They got you. So go ahead, shop Bomb Sauce Babe today, like right now. Do not miss out. On July 14th, protesters gathered together on the lawn of Daniel's new home, and they demanded that he act immediately and charge the officers for the death of Breonna. According to Wave 3 News, David Mattingly reported that Tuesday's protest has been the most organized professional protest I've ever seen on either side since this all started. But all good things must come to an end, because the peaceful protest took a turn when Daniel ordered for the protesters to be arrested for trespassing. And that included reality TV star Yandy Smith, activist Tamika Mallory, as well as Portia Williams, and even Houston hometown hero, philanthropist, and hip-hop artist Trey the Truth.
Justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Say her name. Breonna Taylor. Say her name. Breonna Taylor.
So they all were arrested, booked, and later released. Portia's husband stated, "She has been released, thank you God." Breonna Taylor's mother, Tamika, waited for Portia's release to make sure that she was okay. Trey the Truth took to his Instagram account by adding Daniel and said, "We pulled up to holler at you and you had us put in jail. They killed Breonna Taylor and ignored it. I'm lost. You ain't stopping nothing." Attorney General Daniel Cameron then released a statement saying, "From the beginning of our office has set out to do its job, to fully investigate the events surrounding the death of Miss Breonna Taylor. We continue with a thorough and fair investigation, and today's events will not alter our pursuit of the truth. The stated goal of today's protest at my home was to escalate. That is not acceptable and only serves to further division and tension within our community. Justice is not achieved by trespassing on private property, and it's not achieved through escalation. It's achieved by examining the facts in an impartial and unbiased manner. That is exactly what we are doing and will continue to do in this investigation." Daniel continued in his pursuit to stop the escalation by upgrading the charges of those who've been arrested to a felony charge. Trey the Truth spoke out and said, "So I just found out Daniel had one of our 3 charges to become a felony. You got a lot of time on your hands to enhance our charges and even celebrate your engagement party, but no time for Breonna Taylor killers to be arrested." Fortunately, the charges were finally dropped, and Trey the Truth spoke out with his lawyer about this and the case of Breonna Taylor as well with Fox News. Check this out.
Around his home, because I'm assuming that's a new home he was in. And they was around the home, seeing how peaceful it was, and even offered for some of the other protesters to come on their lawn so the officers wouldn't mess with them.
Michael, you're a former state attorney general. How does this look from where you sit? And should the protesters take further action?
Well, you know, I've prosecuted cases in the state court and in the federal court, and I thought that the idea that they charge these folks, including my musician friend here, with a felony charge was one of the most outrageous things I've ever heard. They were there simply exercising their right to protest. Now, if they were on his private property, maybe he could try to say they needed to leave and that was trespassing. But he works for them. I mean, he's the state attorney general. He's an elected official. And they're telling him what they want him to do, and that is to finally look into this case. I mean, the delay in this case is outrageous. There's no excuse for it. I can't think of any reason a prosecutor should have taken this long. But they charge him with this felony, which is essentially one that's made to prevent people from intimidating witnesses and jurors in a case. And so let me offer this to him and to anybody else. I'd get all the phone records, the cell records, the radio dispatch logs. I'd get the reports. I'd find out everybody was out there. I'd find out who said what and who finally gave the order to charge all of you with a felony, and then I'd sue the hell out of them. It's absolutely untenable. It's un-American, and it's unconscionable. Well, I mean, first off, if they're on private property, then the owner of that property has a right to say, I don't want you on my property. But that then leaves the neighbors, as we've heard, that leaves the streets, the sidewalks, other places. But even still, that the most that could have happened at that point would have been a charge of maybe a city ordinance or a trespass charge, which was essentially nothing. As far as what takes so long, you know, it's not uncommon to have outside agencies come in and investigate a case like this because you've got a police officer involved shooting. But remember that they charged the man, Ms. Taylor's boyfriend, basically that night with attempted murder. So now we've waited all this time and all these many months for them to make a decision about what to do with these officers. This is pretty clear. They went into somebody's home. They didn't have a reason to be in there that was legitimate because the gentleman they were looking for had already been arrested. They went in and shot a lady who had nothing to do with any crimes alleged in this warrant and killed her. So I'm sure what they're trying to do is piece things together. The cases can be tough when you have a police officer involved shooting, but this one, to me, merits charges. You could charge a negligent homicide. There are a number of things that could be brought forward, and the investigation could still go on. You don't have to make a one-time charge in a case. You can bring a charge and you can continue on your investigation. You can increase the charges, you can decrease the charges, you can do things that as the case comes forward, but there's no excuse for sitting here many months later and doing nothing. You need to be careful, you need to be thorough, you need to give everybody due process, but you don't need to delay. You don't do it for politics, you don't do it for strategic reasons. You need to answer the call of justice.
Well,
this deserves to be charged.
In a final statement from journalist Tessa Duvall, she stated, "I'm hearing from people all over the place that if Kenny Walker had never shot, then Breonna would still be alive. Or if she wasn't connected with this drug dealer, then she'd still be alive. There are obviously people who can do the mental gymnastics to justify just about anything. But I think from a more official perspective, it's almost like this case is a he said, she said. What Kenny Walker heard and saw on one side of the door is his perspective. And what officers say they did on the other side of the door is their set of facts. And how do you rectify these two and come up with what really happened?" So after all that's been done for its protests and all that's been said for its Attorney General, it seems like this is just going to be a waiting game at this point. And all we can do is pray and wait and hope for the best and that justice is served. At this point, all we can do is celebrate this beautiful soul and her life here on earth and share it like rapper The Game did. He shared a moment that he had with her at his concert. Rapper The Game wrote, "Today you will be 27 years old. Today you will be celebrating your beautiful life. Instead, today we are still in deep mourning because your life was taken from you prematurely at the hands of the Louisville Metro Police Department and 3 of its incompetent officers who entered your home with malicious intent, serving a no-knock warrant when the people the police were looking for were already in custody. Officers opened fire and shot you 8 times, killing you in cold blood because your car was suspected to be parked outside of a home they were investigating. A beautiful soul taken from her family and friends due to negligence, police work, and a killer squad of officers in Louisville who simply had the wrong house. This is a picture of me and you to remind people of just how big your smile was, and though our interactions was brief, I can attest to the amazing energy you exude and how genuinely happy you were to meet me this night. JC, you said to get my attention, as that always does. I turned around and you asked for a picture, and after you said, thank you so much, we have the same last name, and tell little Callie I said hi. I appreciate you, and I am the one thankful for the picture with such a beautiful soul. Your life was taken, but your name will never be forgotten. Breonna Taylor. Say her name, Black Lives Matter. Happy birthday, beautiful. So share your thoughts below in the comment section. I would love to hear your thoughts on Breonna Taylor, the situation, and any personal experiences that you may have encountered with Breonna Taylor. Be sure to hit the subscribe button for instant updates on your favorite celebrity news as well as pop culture. And also head over to our Instagram account where I also post celebrity news, pop culture, funny things, and funny memes. Do not miss out there either. So hit the follow button over there. Until the next video, deuces.